Guys, quick reminder just in case you haven't listened to episode 138. I am taking a break right now to focus on my daughter's healing. And in between, I'm going to be cultivating some dope ass interviews and content to bring to you guys for season 2. So, in the meantime, check out these re releases.
Welcome to Seeing with Your Soul, the podcast aimed to inspire you to find your voice and become the best, truest, and most authentic version of yourself. Spiritually intimate, soul-to-soul conversations, life-changing insights, and spiritual teaching and healing. Real, raw, unfiltered. Join your host, Tisha Michelle.
Remember, you chose this incarnation and you get to chart your own course. Welcome and welcome back to Seeing with Your Soul with me, Tisha Michelle, your host. So in this present moment, I'm grateful that I woke up this morning and it felt good. So I know it can kind of sound like, oh, that's basic of course, but for me, I remember times where I would wake up in the morning, super anxious about things that I had to do, maybe something that I carried over from the night before, or maybe even just my body hurting in that sense, right? Definitely would say that I'm grateful that not only did I wake up this morning, but I woke up feeling good. It felt really good to not be anxious. It felt really good to not have to feel like I had busy stuff to do and I needed to hurry up and oh my gosh. And it was interesting because I knew that I actually really did have a busy schedule starting at from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Every hour there was something, whether it was podcast interviews with guests, hypnosis sessions, and my alignment sessions with my ongoing clients. It was from 3 to 9. I was going to be busy back to back, literally no time in between to even breathe. But when I woke up this morning, I felt good. None of that was on my mind. I just laid there and I felt good. I'm definitely grateful and appreciative of that. So now your turn. So in this present moment, what are you grateful for? But before you answer that, let's get a little grounded. So unless you are driving, I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. And now I want you to take a nice deep breath. And I want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Again, a nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. One more. A nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Yes. All right. So, what are you guys grateful for? Scan your life, scan your last 5 minutes, 24 hours, whatever it may be. Just really just think about it and just really express your gratitude. It always feels good though to really just be grateful. Put it out there. All right. So, guess what, guys? This is not a solo episode. I have a guest. And I started off in the beginning before was Staying with Your Soul when it was hashtag certified and I had guests and, I had that realization that I was really meant to do this solo and really share my thoughts and my experience and my wisdom and as I'm channeling and just really talking to you guys. So occasionally now I'll bring some friends on here to share their insight and their teachings and their wisdom. So super excited to have a guest. So let me go ahead and read her bio. So Alex Franzen is an entrepreneur and best-selling author of 6 books, including You Are Going to Survive, So This Is the End, A Love Story, and The Checklist Book. She is the founder of The Tiny Press, an award-winning book publishing imprint, and co-founder of Get It Done, a company specializing in writing, communication, marketing, and publishing services. Some of you guys may have seen Alex in places like the Los Angeles Times, the New York Times Small Business Blog, BuzzFeed, Fast Company Inc., Time, Forbes, Newsweek, Lifehacker, USA Today, Stylecaster, Thrive Global, and top podcasts and radio programs like Marketplace from American Public Media, Entrepreneur on Fire, Being Boss, and On Purpose. Alex deleted all of her social media accounts 6 years ago and is known for her unconventional approach to life, business, and productivity. So then Through her newest endeavor, the Unplug Project, she aims to inspire millions of people to reduce screen time, unplug more, and create a balanced and healthy relationship with email, social media, phones, and other digital devices. And I'm so excited for that one to come out. Oh, all right. So I met Alex in 2019. And in this episode, we chat around that and I go into the story of how we met, which is just another way that the universe will move things and people around to put people in your path and to put you in other people's path. And it's so amazing how that happens when you really step back and it's like, dang, that was interesting. And now I see why that happened. But I really wanted to have her on the show because of the unconventional approach that she has to life. And, especially when it comes to like social media, like all of those things that I read to you in her bio, like, bruh, she has no social media and she in the Forbes. And you know what I'm saying? All these things and stuff, but no social media. Like, you just don't understand. No social media. I'm not ragging on social media. It's just that, social media it could be a bit much sometimes, right, for a person. And it was something that she said in here where when she was talking about her own experience and when she did have social media and she took a break from it. And she said that, she realized that her self-esteem was tied into social media. Like, how many likes did you get? Did you get any comments, any followers? And I thought that was pretty deep because I know a lot of you can really relate to that if you get honest with yourself and really think about it. Like if you posted or shared something on social media, whatever platform you use, and you didn't get this response that you thought you would get or you expected to get, or it didn't get a lot of traction, and then you started to question yourself and you started to feel some type of way, like maybe I shouldn't have posted that, or now I feel like this, or maybe you got a comment that made you feel a certain way. Like, let's be real, like I'm pretty sure a lot of us have felt that way before, or maybe even something that someone posted and there was a part of you that felt low-key jealous, or you started to question like your work. Well, how come I don't have that? Or why am I not further along that sense? Or why doesn't my body look like that? Whatever it may be, it's like we tie a lot into social media. So like I said, I wanted to have her on here because first of all, she's just badass. She's just dope. I even took her course with the Tiny Book Project. Like, she's just amazing, and she lives in Hawaii. Like, all right, just really like enough of that. So, okay, guys, I enjoy the conversation. So, welcome. So, around here on Seeing with Your Soul, I always like to start off by expressing gratitude. So, my question to you is: in this present moment, what are you grateful for?
Such a great question. Man, so many things. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the sun. It's been pouring rain where I live for literally like 3 weeks in a row. And now we finally have sun and it feels like a whole new world.
Exactly.
I'm grateful for my dog who is taking a little nap right by my feet while we record. I'm feeling a lot of gratitude for just so many simple things, health, good food, dog by your feet,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. Yeah.
I love that you said the sun. Oh my gosh. So I moved to Arizona, but right now I'm actually in Virginia. So I'm going back and forth. And it was
Yeah.
raining a lot here too. And I find myself getting depressed. And I'm like, this is why I don't want to be here. I need to go back. But today it's in the 70s. And I like took this like picture and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting Arizona vibes. I was like, it's so and it's just something about the sun. And I think back to the times where I would be so upset about how hot it was and I would complain. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like I so appreciate the sun. But yeah, I also get it too about just like the little things that you think are just, oh, they're so simple, but yet they're so powerful. Like for you with the dog, right? Like my youngest son is a dog lover. So that would be one of the things he's, grateful for too. It's like my dog he has with his dad, not with me, but
Yeah. It is those little things, right? Like just waking up and, your back's not aching today, or, you've got some nice food in the fridge, or just those little things are always the things that I find my mind, goes to immediately when I think about gratitude.
yeah, the things that a lot of people overlook,
Yeah.
like that too. And now I'm just like, I'm actually grateful that I woke up without any pains because the past couple of days I was hurting.
Yes, yes, exactly. I know. And it's unfortunate quality about us human beings is we're often not grateful for those simple things until something goes wrong, right? Like you get that crank in your neck or you have some kind of health issue and then suddenly you're like, "Oh, I wish I had had more gratitude for feeling good when I was."
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for sharing, the things that you're grateful for. I've found just by different feedback from like listeners and stuff that things that I would express what I was grateful for, they were like, it triggers something within them. I really
Yeah.
love like that. They're like, you know what, I didn't really think about that. And then they're like, wow, like, or this is that. So I think that's great. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for asking. It's a great question.
So it's so interesting because this is March of 2021, right? So we
Yes.
actually connected in March of 2019.
Wow.
So it's interesting. I was like, ooh, the energy, like the vibes and stuff. So, and I was telling everybody that time. So I'm gonna share it with like the listeners and see if you even like remember like all of it. It was funny because I was in coming back from LA to Virginia, and I went there to do filming for this my own show that I was doing, and I was doing Southwest because I love Southwest because you can pick your seat, and I was comfortable with the vibration of numbers, and I have to choose a certain number to sit in that seat, and it's not every time; it's just whatever number I'm like really like vibing with. And I remember, they just give you whatever section that you go for boarding or whatever, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, I don't want to board in this one because it's going to be all these people in front of me. And I'm like, they're going to choose my seat. So I got up and I paid, I think like 30 or $40 just to like move up so I could be in one of the top people to go. And I remember like you were standing like on the line and then like I got in line because it was almost time to go. And you had like the blue in your hair. And I was like, okay, first of all, I love that. And I don't know, we just started talking. Like it was literally like Spirit just like had us just talking to each other. And it was like so cool. And I remember saying to you, oh, so like, because this was my new thing now, because I would meet people and we would connect and then that's it. And then so now my new thing was like, so are you on like Instagram? Like, let's connect, just to really like build up this connection with people. And I remember saying that to you and you was like, oh yeah, you was like, I don't have any like social media. And I'm like, first thought is she's lying to me. She just doesn't want to connect with me. Oh my gosh, you must live a peaceful life. And then as we were talking and you were saying, about being like author stuff, and in my mind, I'm like, how does she build her business? That's okay, like that's cool. And then we talked more, and then you was just like, oh hey, like let's just sit together. And I picked whatever number it was, and it was cool. And then I was like, okay, this is a little, I always say a little spooky, but I'm just talking about like the divine, and the way like the universe will connect people with. And we were talking, and you were saying about the books that you have, helped people, like ghostwriting and stuff like that. And I was like, wait, and I had the book with me. I was like, I just got this book. Like, and it was one of the people that you have worked with. So I was like, okay, here we go. And then you said you're in Hawaii. I was like, okay, universe, what are you doing? Because there was so much that was coming up around Hawaii too. So I was like, okay, I don't know what this is all about, but I know that it's something and I'm going to trust it. And then here we are, like 2 years, later. I was telling my son about it that later on, that when I got home, my oldest son, and I was telling him, like, I was like, oh my God, I met this girl. Like, oh my God, she's so cool. And she does this, she does that. But she said she doesn't have any social media. And then my son was like, the one that's moving to Hawaii. He was like, she might be capping. I was like, I know, right? So we start searching you. We start doing this search on you to find your social media. And there was like old stuff, just like old. And I was like, okay, so she was telling the truth.
That is so funny. It never occurred to me that when I tell people I don't have social media, they might think I'm just straight up lying. But I can see, that's a reasonable reaction because it is such an unusual thing these days. That's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah. And I remember when we were talking, I asked you, I said, well, how, because it was so fascinating to me. I'm like, how do you build your business if you're like an author and you do these things? Like, to me, it was so weird. Not like you were weird, but it was like the only concept in my mind was social media. And now when I look at it, I'm like, I was the weird one. Like, I would love for you to just like kind of like share that story with like my listeners of like, how did that even come about for as you to step back from, social media?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I love that you told that story and of how we met because it was so serendipitous. And I did feel like one of those moments of kind of spirit, God, divine intervention, whatever, because I too had spontaneously paid to upgrade my seat at the very last minute, I also went up and paid the $30 or whatever. And so it was just kind of total serendipity that we found ourselves in the same airport, in the same line at the same moment, and both kind of spontaneously as well. Also, I'm very introverted, and especially when I'm in big public places, I'm usually that girl with, headphones on, sunglasses on, reading a book, listening to a podcast. Like, it's not that I don't like people, I do, but I get overwhelmed in really big, crowded places. So it was also unusual that I was just kind of standing there, like chatting with a stranger, but it just happened. We just felt compelled to start chatting about stuff. So I love that story. But getting back to your question, yeah, when I share with people that I don't use social media, I deleted all of my accounts about 6 or 7 years ago at this point. Often people are surprised. They have a lot of questions. Why did you do this? What's the deal? Apparently, sometimes they think I'm lying, which is understandable. But, what I tell people, especially folks who are artists, authors, business owners, aspiring business owners, is, look, when it comes to creating an audience for your work, like if you want to find readers and fans and customers and clients, there are a million different ways to do that. You can start a newsletter, you can start a podcast, you can reach out to friends and family and ask for their help and support. You can print flyers and brochures and mail them out. You can pitch yourself to the media. You can send a press release. Like, I could go on and on and on and on. But my point is, using social media to promote your work is one option. And it can be a great option for some people, but it's like one out of 1,000 options. There's so many other ways to spread the word about what you're doing. And I think because our culture just is so social media obsessed, it's like a lot of people have kind of forgotten, oh yeah, like there are all these other options available should I choose to use them. So again, social media is like one marketing option. It can be a great option if it's something that you love, but it's not the only option. And it's optional, not mandatory. And, what's interesting is I did a little research recently for a presentation I was doing on marketing without social media. And I forget the exact percentage, but it's something like 30 to 40% of all small business owners in the United States don't use social media, which it surprised even me, So what that signifies is there are literally millions of small businesses out there chugging along, getting customers, making sales, staying open, not using social media. So again, that just underscores my point that this is something that is optional, not mandatory. And in terms of my personal story, I started my business in 2010. And that was right around the time, as you might remember, when like social media was kind of just starting to really pop, right? Like Twitter, Facebook, these things were still fairly new, but starting to gain a lot of momentum. And a lot of mentors told me, you got to get on social media. You got to have a presence on all the different platforms. You got to grow a following. You got to be posting every day. This is the way to find customers, find clients, sell books as an author. And back then, 2010, 11 years ago, I was like, okay, like if you say so, so I just sort of did it. And pretty quickly began to feel like this just isn't for me. This just isn't where I want to dedicate so much of my mental energy and time and creativity. And I started to also notice what I think a lot of people experience, which is almost like an addiction or a compulsion to be checking social media all day long, checking who retweeted my last tweet, who sent me a message, who commented, how many hearts did I get, how many likes, how many this, how many that. And I started to just I don't like the person I'm becoming, and I don't like how this feels. And this isn't who I want to be, I don't want to feel like my self-esteem is so directly connected to the reaction I'm getting or not getting on Twitter. So, about maybe 6-ish years ago, I decided to make some changes. And for me, it was a very gradual process. Like, it wasn't an overnight thing. I didn't like wake up one morning and delete all of my accounts on the spot. It was more of a process of experimenting. So, first, I decided to take a short break from Twitter, just Twitter. I was like, I'm just going to take the summer off. I'm gonna let my peeps know, like, hey, I'm taking a break from Twitter. I'll be back in the fall. Have a beautiful summer, just to see how it would feel, just to see what's gonna happen. Am I gonna feel different? What will happen to my career? Will there be consequences or not? So I started with that small experiment and it felt great. Like it just felt so good. It felt like a spa vacation for my brain. And I felt calmer. I felt less stressed out. I noticed that I could just concentrate so much better on my work. I could get things done faster. I wasn't so distracted. It had a lot of positive effects. And I also remember that the choice to step away from Twitter for a while, it also just freed up some space in my day, right? And I noticed myself picking up the phone to call a friend or call my mom or talk to a friend who lives in another state or write letters or send a long email to catch up. Or I was just connecting with people in other ways that felt better to me. So long story short, after that little experiment, I just made some more decisions. I just decided, for right now, at this chapter in my life and career, I don't feel that I want or need to use social media. I'm just going to step away. I'm going to deactivate everything. Nothing is forever. I'm allowed to change my mind. If I change my mind in a year or 2 or 5, that's okay. But for now, I'm going to just say, no, this just is not going to be part of my life. And I'm going to focus my energy on other ways to stay connected with friends and family, other ways to promote my work, of which there are many,
Mhm.
and just direct my energy there. It was a gradual process, but in some ways it was pretty simple. Like you can, whether it's whatever it is, whether it's like a habit that you want to change or social media, email, whatever, like at a certain point, you just have to kind of go, all right, I'm ready to make a change and I'm doing it today and then do it.
Oh my gosh, so it's so much like there. Like, where do I start at? Like, I love
I
how
know it's a long story.
no, it was just packed with so much that it just goes so much deeper than just like social media. Just you can apply like everything you said into like any area in your life. Like, I love how you said you didn't like how your self-esteem was connected to social media. Oh my gosh, like mind blowing. That's it. That is it. Because if you don't get a certain amount of likes or comments and stuff, like you start to feel a certain way, or you start to go, well, should I have put that out? You start really doubting and questioning yourself based off of other people. And then it's this whole like algorithm that, the social media has, and then you got to try to figure out how to finesse it and and it's like, wait a minute, at what point did things switch that we really just, it was embedded in us that social media is the only thing. It's like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, it's not even that old. Like, especially for, it's like such as like myself, it's like, wait a minute, what do we do like before then and all? So I love that. So it's really for like people to identify, like, wait a minute, is your self-esteem connected and attached to social media, whatever platform that is, which, because what you're saying is it's connected into other people. It's
Yeah.
other people. It's not necessarily the platform itself, but it's other people are determining your self-worth, your self-esteem. And when you start to really unpack that and look at it like that, it's like, wait a minute, I got to do some like, evaluating right here. But it's also not, but however, it's also that fear pumped into people that your business is not going to do great if you're not on social media, right? That was a part of what I thought with you. I'm like, you're an author and you do like, this is so weird to me. Like, how do you do this? And it's like, wait a minute, I'm seeing you now, like good stuff. And it's not your social media. Like, I follow Rachel Rogers. And she was talking about something on one of her posts. And as I was reading it, she was like, yeah, we're going to bring you like the best copy in the sales. I said, wait a minute, this sounds like somebody I know. Then underneath it, I seen the name. I was like, that's her. But even with that, itself, there was no tagging you in because there's no social media. But here it is, like I'm seeing, like I seen you were on another podcast with someone, you're getting ready to be at coaching. I think it's like an ultimate coaching conference. And I'm like, y'all is just thriving, right? With no social media, you writing books for other people. I mean, and just like killing like the game. And it's like, wait a minute, with no social media. And I think that's just so like just powerful for people to know that. What did you say? It's optional and it's just one option
That's
versus it being.
right. That's so right. And this is something I'm so passionate about because, like you said, there's so many people who feel like, okay, I want to be an author. I want to sell books. I want to spread my message to the world. I've got products to sell. How do I connect with my people, right? Like, how do I find customers? How do I find clients? And social media seems like the obvious answer. Oh, I go on Instagram, I get 1 million followers, and then boom, millionaire. Like, that's how it works.
Yeah.
But it's not how it works for everyone. That's sort of like one path, but there are infinite paths. And, for some people, maybe social media just isn't something you enjoy. Maybe it
Yeah.
drains you, it depletes you, it feels distracting. It's just not your thing. And like you said, there's so many other options. You can do speaking engagements. You can teach free classes for your community. You can get highlighted in the press. You can win an award. You can start your own newsletter. Like, again, I could go on and on, but there are literally like 50, 100, 200. There are so many things you can do to find your audience. And again, social media is one of many possibilities. And it's not even necessarily the best option for a lot of people. Yeah. So again, this goes to a deeper question of like really thinking about your life, your career, your art, your legacy, and kind of going, well, wait a minute. Am I doing X, Y, and Z because I really feel called to do it? Or am I doing it just because that's what kind of everyone else is doing? And I feel like I have to, or I should. And those are the real questions, right? Whether it's about social media or something else, like, why am I doing this? Why is this included in my life? Am I just doing it on autopilot? Am I doing it because it's what my mentor said I should do? Or am I really checking in with myself and going, does this feel right? Does this make sense for me? Does this feel authentic? And those are such beautiful questions we can apply not just to social media, but to everything that we include in our lives.
Absolutely. And I think that's so beautiful. Checking in with yourself and asking, oh, does this feel right? Why am I
Mm.
doing this? Is this my truth or is it someone else's truth? So thank you so much like for that because it is a deeper thing. It's so much bigger than social media. I remember even with myself, even as much teaching that I do with like spirituality and like authenticity and everything, I found myself, I'm like, this is so draining. I don't want to have to post and just keep sharing all the time. Like I don't want to, or maybe I don't even, then you see something that somebody posts and it makes you feel a certain way. And then I'm like, this is torture sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, this is torture. So why put like ourselves through that? Then there's that ego part that pops in and just says, but people might forget about you. And it's like, okay, well, let me just keep this like here in this sense. And it's like, wait a minute. So yeah, you're right. It is questioning like yourself and just saying like, does this even feel good? And if it doesn't feel good, that's okay. You can step back from whatever that thing is and just know that that's not the only thing. Because I kind of look at it like this. It's like we're not really trusting in the universe to like provide, whether it's an opportunity or, exposure, abundance or whatever, if we feel like we can only get it from one thing, whatever that is. So I know that I've had to like even work on that as well too, because it's about my psyche, it's about my feelings, it's about my sanity. And if I feel like doing so much on social media and it's not feeling right, it's like, wait a minute. It's okay to step back. And I did that. It was last year. I did like inspired by you. I think I did like 2 weeks or something off and it felt like so good. And I'm like, why did I come back?
Right. And I think it's important from time to time to do those breaks and detoxes. Like I'm actually doing in May, I'm going to do 1 week of no digital devices at all, except for Spotify. I decided that I need music or I'll die. But I'm going to do no phone, no email. I'm taking a vacation, but I'm not traveling anywhere. I wanted to see what it would feel like to kind of do a staycation, be at home, have my, mostly normal routine, but just not touch any screens or digital devices, no email, no computer, no phone, no texting for 1 week. So I'm doing it as an experiment. It's another one of my experiments, to see what does that feel like and what can I learn from it and what's hard about it and what is it going to teach me? And then on the other side of it, okay, now what? Do I want to keep this going in a way?
Yeah.
Do I want to have some new habits in place? Maybe it's not realistic for me to have no technology all the time because I need to write and work and pay taxes and whatnot. But is there some element of this that I could pull into my everyday life? And it sounds like you had a similar experience after taking your break. You came through it and you were like, wow, can this be my
Yeah.
normal life? Yeah.
Exactly. And honestly, that's goals, like to be not really on like social media. I may pop in here and there type thing, but really just rock out. Like I have my TV network, I have the podcast, and not have to really be like on there. So yeah, I definitely, you got to send an email out when you do that experiment and share with
Yes.
us. But speaking of that, because I do subscribe to you, so I love those emails. So it was one of your most recent ones where I was like, this is what my screen looks like. And I was like, okay, what does it look like? And then I'm like looking at it and then I'm reading. And as I'm reading what you were saying, and for my listeners, we'll give that info at the end, but you have to go get on her newsletter. But you said you have like 7 apps on your phone. They're not on the very first screen. And it's on the second one, it's hidden, and your phone doesn't ring. And you only have it for a certain person, like your mom, I think you said like your brother, like partner, and I think you said your therapist. Everybody
Yeah.
else, like so, and as I was reading that, there was a part of me that was having anxiety, thinking like, oh my God, like what if, and then the other part was like, oh my God, that's so peaceful. So it was cool because I did my own, like, I like to say research with them and stuff. So based off of how I was feeling anxiety in one part reading what you were saying. And then the other part was so peaceful. And I was like, oh, that's where I need to stop and I need to reflect and say, okay, why am I feeling anxiety over reading this? And it was because in my mind was like, oh God, there's no way that I could just do that. Then the other part was like, I'm trying to be like her when I grow up. Like, I'm trying to be like Alex when I grow up because this is amazing. And I was reading it I forwarded to my friend and then I was reading it to her. She was like, oh my gosh. I was like, right? I'm like, goals. But the way we were saying it was as if we couldn't do the same thing, as if we couldn't do the same thing. And I'm like, okay, this is some more inner work to do. Why can't I? You can start with, a part of that. Like, I love that this only have a certain amount of apps. I think one of your apps is your banking, right? We need that, right?
Yeah. Got to
you know,
see what's going on in the checking account.
I gotta check in on the coins and stuff. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, look, this makes all the sense in the world. Like you like to be putting that out there. But I thought that was so beautiful. And I'm like, I want to do that. And maybe not jump fully out because I don't want to throw myself into shock, but just kind of take some of those
Yeah.
tips and stuff. So I love that. I love you. And you always give a playlist and then your PS and PPPS. I'll be like, yes, give me more, give me more. And look, and you're doing this and I'm gaining so much from you and not on social media. It's coming directly to my email and it's packed with so much stuff that just allows me to reflect. And I give so much to like other people and with like my clients and stuff. So it's so good to like, it's like refreshing. It's like you just get it like in your bed and just read your emails and then you start to apply some of those things. And it's just so, I just want to say thank you for that, just for my personal thing.
Thank you. And yeah, when I decided to leave social media and I was looking for other ways to build an audience and connect with people and connect with potential clients and customers, I decided that I would create a newsletter, a mailing list. And I love it. Like I view it as an art project and I love sharing ideas and inspiring stories. And yeah, like, of course, I'm going to promote my courses and books and other things too. But I really view my newsletter as like an art project first and foremost. And I've been writing pretty much weekly for the last 10 years. I think I actually started it before I left social media, but then I kind of got more committed to it afterwards. And I'm so glad you're enjoying it. And yeah, so I want to talk about the phone thing though. So you mentioned a newsletter that I shared where I showed a screenshot of my phone, what it looks like. It's very blank and empty and peaceful. And then I shared like some of my policies and habits around phone. And it's interesting that you were noticing that feeling of like, wow, that sounds beautiful. And also, that would never work for me. Or like, I can't do that. Isn't it interesting that voice that comes in our heads that's like, ooh, I want to be like her, but I never could be. Or like, oh,
Mhm.
wow, that's really beautiful, but there's no way I could do that. It's
Yeah,
like we have this beautiful longing for something that we want, and then we immediately shut it down.
absolutely.
And I think what's kind of a fun thing to do, and this is something I do with my own head, is like make a list of all those reasons why you think you can't make this change. Well, I could never do that because, well, what if my son needed to get a hold of me? Well, what if I missed out on an opportunity from a client? What if there's an emergency? What if this? What if that? Like, make a list of all those what ifs that feel scary or whatever, and then like really just break each one down because there's always a solution for each one. If you want to have your phone on silent so that you're not interrupted a million times a day, but you also want to hear from your son if there's an emergency, there's a setting for that. Easy. You can do that. You can set up your phone so that's exactly what it does. It
Yes.
won't like boom. Or if you feel like, wow, I'm so nervous about missing out on a potential opportunity if a client emails me at 5 p.m. on a Friday, there's a solution for that. You can set up an email autoresponder that lets people know, like, hey, got your message. Thank you so much. I'll reply first thing on Monday. Or you could hire a part time virtual assistant who answers emails on your behalf. Like, what
Mm.
I'm getting at is like, for every fear or block, there's always a solution. And it's usually pretty easy. Like,
I mean,
once you
just hearing you
actually break
say
it
that now,
down.
just hearing you say that, I'm like, wait a minute, mind blowing again. Like, yeah, there's a setting for that. Like, okay, just get
Yeah. So,
started.
like, all of these boundaries I've set to protect my mental health and my time, these are things that anyone can do. And it's not that, I'm not saying like, hey, you have to live and work and use your phone exactly the way I do. But I think it's important when those feelings of like, well, I could never do that, or that would never work for me, or that's not how it works in my industry. Like, when those
Yeah.
objections arise, to go, okay, well, let's think about that. Like, is that actually true? Or maybe there's a quick solution that would actually solve this issue, handle it, and then I can have my peace and my time and my privacy the way I want.
Yeah. No, I love that. I know my listeners are gonna appreciate that. So I'm like, look, if y'all don't have your notebook, y'all need to put it on pause, grab the notebook, rewind, and because those is just that you just dropped are just so you would think like, oh, that's like simple. I'm like, it's so powerful. But even to the virtual assistant, like you said, just to answer so that way you won't, and that way they can filter through. And if it's something that's super like, important in that sense, they know how to reach out to you. Oh my gosh, like I'm revamping, seriously.
Yes, let's
I'm
make
using
some
this weekend,
changes.
yes, to make some changes. And, it's starting with this device. It just drives me crazy. And then the other part of me is just like, but that's how you make your money through the phone because you talk to your clients. But at the same time, I'm doing a podcast interview, not on my phone, and I'm on there. So it's just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So
And
much.
it's not an either or, right? Like, it's not like we're saying never use your phone, never send a text, never email a client. No, do all of those things, but do it with intention.
Yeah.
Do it in a way that feels good, that's not degrading your mental and physical health, right? It's about setting systems and boundaries and policies that feel good for you. And I really feel like if you dedicate, whatever it is, an hour a day, then that's your hour to go through that inbox, reply to things, help out your clients, whatever. And you like, that's all you're doing for that 1 hour, and you bring your whole heart and your whole mind to it, total concentration, you're going to get so much done and you're going to do such high quality work. And it's going to be so much better for you and your clients than if you're kind of just like, frittering in and out of your inbox kind of sort of halfway all day long, like
How I feel sometimes. I'm like, man,
right.
talking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, are we being productive or we're just doing like fake busy stuff? Because I'm in the
Yes.
middle of, and I have like multiple businesses and I'm working on one. And then next thing you know, I'm over because I'm building a home care agency again. I
Mm,
sold mine in 2018 and now I'm doing it again. And I'm like, wait a minute, I started off over here. How am I over here? And then I just got this phone call that I'm like, all right, let me just answer her.
right.
And I'm pretty good at now. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna answer because I don't have that type of energy right now. But then I'll just get distracted or something, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then I'm like, I'm so overwhelmed. Well, why am I overwhelmed? I'm doing this. The battle is what? It's always us versus us, right?
Yes, absolutely. Us versus us. And, there's a couple of books that I really recommend to anyone who's feeling like, I am distracted. I am overwhelmed. I need to get a handle on this email, these texts, these calls. Like my brain is going crazy. One book is called Deep Work. It's by Cal Newport. Powerful book. And it really goes into why our culture and the way that most of us approach our workday is so messed up and like really makes it so difficult to just concentrate. So in this book, he talks about, what happens to your brain when you allow yourself to be interrupted, distracted, and how you're really doing yourself and your clients a huge disservice by working in that way. So Deep Work is a great book to check out. Another great book is called Indistractable. Indistractable was written by a guy who used to work as, I think, an app developer. He worked in tech, and his job was to basically invent tech tools that are extremely addictive. so, and so now he's kind of like gone to the flip side and he's like, whoa, 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 I've created a monster. Sorry about that. Now let me teach you how to like break away from those
Mm,
patterns of addictive behavior. So very interesting perspective because, he has the perspective of he knows exactly why email is so addictive, why social media is so addictive, why these tools just pull us in and pull our attention, and also how to stop. So that's a great book to check out as well. There's so many good ones that are coming out recently and lately. I think this is a topic that's more and more on everybody's mind.
how about
Someone,
your book? Well, you know,
yeah,
I don't
okay,
know.
so that's coming. I'm developing a book on this exact topic. The working title right now is Turn Off Your Phone and Read This Book.
That.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about all of these things. I'll share a little bit of my personal story, but I really want this book to be like that book that people read and like their shoulders drop and they exhale with relief and they realize I can make some changes. I can make some beautiful changes right now. I have the power to do this. So, yeah, my goal is to have that book out by the end of this year.
Oh,
So,
nice.
let's
I
see.
cannot wait. But even like your other book, and forgive me if You're Going to Survive.
Yeah, yeah, good memory.
Yeah, that one was so good. That just opened me up to just really just understanding like how like the universe works and how you could be so bummed out about something, but it was actually just like a blessing. And I read it twice. Honestly, I'm probably gonna read it again. Probably the next couple of like weeks, I'll be reading it again. And I've told so many people like about it because it just opens you up to just like so much more, just looking at things differently,
Yeah.
and I believe that you do such a great job of opening people up to another like perspective and seeing that there's so much more than just like one particular thing. And I think it really resonates with me because I do that on a different a level, especially when it comes to like spirituality and just like energy and the universe and whatever people want to like connect with that higher power. And it's just like, hey, there's another way to look at things. So I take so much to you because I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. Like, wow, that's so, oh my gosh, it's so mind blowing. It's so amazing. And it's all because it gives you that feel good. Like it gives you that feel good. So definitely want people to check out or your books,
Oh,
but,
thank
especially
you.
that one. But I'm gonna put all that for my listeners and the show notes and stuff for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, that book I wrote a couple of years ago, and it's one of my favorites too, because it's a book about like you said, just kind of all the painful, scary things that can happen over the course of your career, getting fired from a job, losing out on a big opportunity, having a client be angry at you, getting publicly humiliated on the internet, like all of these awful, awful, painful things. And then looking at each thing a new perspective, and looking at it through the lens of what can I learn from this? What's my lesson here? And also, could this even be a blessing in disguise that I just can't see yet because I'm stuck in the pain right now? Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
it's a cool book. I
It
I
is.
sometimes think about doing like a second edition because
Mm.
especially after 2020, it's like there's
Yes.
so many more
Oh my gosh.
situations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so interesting that you mentioned. Yeah, it's a feel good book because I think so many people could relate to something or someone's experience or their story. Like, wow, I remember like that happened to me and all like my personal story that I probably would have shared if you were interviewing me for that book was when I was working for this one company. I loved the company and it was only the my coworker and then the manager. It was a small office and then everybody was it was the best. Didn't make that great of money, but it was like just perfect. And I remember saying like, this is my favorite job. I'm never gonna leave. I'm gonna be here forever. And the next day when I went in, we got laid off.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what just happened? And I was
Wow.
now since like my awakening has happened, I'm like, the universe was like, oh no, child. I heard that foolishness you said you was never gonna leave. You was gonna be there forever. And it was like, we gotta shake things up because you're not even on the path of your highest good. And but at that time I was like devastated. I had I had the three kids at the time, and I was like, wait a minute, thought I was gonna be here like forever, and this is great. But it was actually the blessing because that's what was the catalyst to being an entrepreneur because I said, I never want to be in this position again. I remember going to get assistance, never had assistance before, and I was pregnant at 16, didn't even have it then. I think I might have had, I don't even know if I even had WIC, but I went to go get assistance because I got laid off and I was denied because I was in the military and I get veterans benefits. And I want to say it was like 400 and something bucks a month. And they were like, yeah, you're over by like almost like by like $20. And I was like, what? And I was like, I was pregnant at 16 and I never came and got assistance. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And I was like, I don't ever want to feel like that again. So
Mm-mm.
I stayed at that job. I don't know, I might not even be doing like walking in my purpose now because that was a whole other thing. So that's what I thought about like reading your book and the different people's stories and stuff is like how you could be so, like you said, stuck in that pain that you don't see anything else. But in actuality, that was a blessing. I'm like, thank you, universe, for shaking me up because I love my life.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And what a beautiful like change of perspective you were able to have. And there's that saying that goes like rejection is God's protection, something
Mhm.
like that.
I agree.
Yeah. And it's funny, like even my personal story is so different than yours. I'm not a mom yet, but I had in my own way a really similar experience as well, where way back in the day, I applied for a promotion at my workplace and I really thought I was going to get it. Like it seemed like it was going great. They had me in for a couple rounds of interviews. Everything seemed cool. And then they told me that I didn't get the job. And I was devastated. And it was like really, really discouraging. And I started crying in front of my coworker. Like it was bad. But what was so weird was that I realized the reason that I burst into tears was it was more than anything, it was like tears of relief
Mhm.
because I think deep, deep, deep down, I knew I don't really want this job. I want the salary,
Yeah.
but I knew that if they offered it to me, I would have said yes. And I would have been locked into a path that was not right. And so, in a weird way, it was the biggest blessing because shortly after that meeting, I realized I don't even want to be here. I want to be self employed. I want to be an artist. I want to write books. I want to do my own thing. And it's time to make a move. So, that rejection was ultimately the fuel that got my ass out of there, because it would have been very comfortable and cozy to just kind of keep cruising along on that path.
And guys, this is in the book, so you guys got to go read the book.
Little
Right.
preview.
Yeah, a little preview on it. I definitely want to respect your time because I know how busy you are. Got so much going on. But before we wrap it up, how can we support you? Like, what's next? Like, what's the goodies? Like,
Oh, you're so sweet. Honestly, I like totally lost track of time. I don't even know what time it is. Yeah, no, we're doing great. I'm just enjoying this conversation. So, okay, so some stuff coming up next is, I don't know when this episode's going to be released, but in summer 2021, my company and I are doing a book fair. So it's going to be free, totally free. It's going to be online, and we're going to do a couple days of just like all things book related. So we're going to have author readings, we're going to have panel events, we're going to talk about how to self-publish your book if that's the path you want. We're going to do like prizes. We might have a magician do a magic show. Like it's going to be
wow.
fun.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So anyone who is an author, who is an aspiring author, you feel like you have a book inside of you, you want to bring it out, this will be fun, 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 and like really inspirational. So you can go to either my website, which is alexandrafranzen.com, get on my newsletter if you want
For
to
sure.
get a heads up when that's happening. That's probably like the most exciting thing that's on the immediate horizon. We're going to make it dope.
I believe it.
Um,
I believe it.
yeah, I'm really excited about that. And then, yeah, I'm working on my next book, which will be all around changing your relationship with technology. And I'm sure I'll be releasing, little sneak peeks of that as it's developed, maybe some audiobook content. So again, go to my website and get on my newsletter. That's the best spot if you want to
Yeah,
get
I'm gonna make
heads up.
sure that people. I've already sent like so many people since I've
Oh,
been
thank
doing
you.
like, today. I'm like, oh my god, and then they'll like send me like a message, and I'm like, I already read it. Like, like, oh, did you see this? I'm like, I read it already.
Oh my gosh, you are so sweet. Thank you.
Because it just be so good. It's literally like it's a feel good, and like when you earlier when you said like, of course I'm gonna promote my stuff. It doesn't even feel like you're promoting your stuff. Like literally, it's like that hypnosis. Like, wait, I need to take a class. I did like a tiny book. It just really allows you to like open up and just say, you know what, even if it takes you like a couple minutes to read this newsletter, it's those couple minutes are for you. And
Yeah.
that's what it feels. It's like this is like for me, like I'm not getting distracted by anything else. I want to read. No, I want to see like what else is this saying? Yes, this is me. Like, oh my gosh, there's this, there's that. But I don't know. I can't even really explain it. So you guys just gotta go and get on her email list. It is not one of those email lists where you just be like, oh my gosh, let me no, you're like looking for it. I'm like, hey Alex, what's up?
Oh,
Where's my email at? Like I need my people good email.
you
And
are so sweet. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, like I said, I love writing my newsletter and I love connecting with readers. I've made like so many friends and I've met people through who have just somehow stumbled across my website, got on my newsletter. It's a magic thing. I'm really into it. So thanks.
I can tell it is though, but you guys just got to experience it yourself. So no, this has been great. So thank you so much. Like I really, really, really like appreciate it. And Hawaii, like, oh yeah, guys, she lives in Hawaii. Like, come on, like just
So
she
you
lives in
gotta tell me when well, I don't want to spill the beans publicly, but when you find yourself in Hawaii, which you mentioned might be coming up, you let
yeah,
me know. And
yeah,
I'd love
for
to be your tour guide or at the very least give you some cool recommendations if you're on a different island than me. So send me a little
Oh,
email.
no, I will for sure. But are you going to be doing? Do you have a Hawaii retreat coming up soon?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, due to COVID, I didn't really do any retreats last year, 2020. We had one in January and then the world fell apart. So, I'm not planning any for 2021.
Yeah.
I am thinking about 2022. And it's funny you mention it because I'm actually going to look at a potential venue
Mhm.
literally tomorrow. So, some fun Hawaii retreats could be on the horizon, but most likely not till 2022. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be here before you know it anyway.
I
So.
know, right? And it's already time really to start like booking venues. I have a feeling that once everyone gets their vaccine and once things are kind of like semi-normal again, I think people are just going to be dying to get on a plane and go on a trip because everyone is so bored of being home. So,
Well,
yeah.
I have my Arizona retreat is in May because it
Oh,
was supposed to be
sweet.
May of last year, but because of COVID and it
Right.
changed. And then I have my Bali one scheduled for September of
Oh
this
my
year.
gosh, that's so
Yes, I'm
exciting.
hoping nothing crazy pops up and because that was supposed to be last August and
Yeah.
we had to change it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
go away, COVID.
I bet it'll be fine. You know, I think everyone is adjusting. A lot of people are getting vaccinated. You know, even here in Hawaii, like just in the last 2 weeks or so, things feel really different. Like hotels are busy again. It feels like the
Mhm.
world is kind of coming back to life. So I bet the timing of your retreats will be great and you'll have an awesome experience with your
Yeah.
peeps.
Thank you. Thank you for those
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. I really appreciate it.
I so appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I appreciate the chance to chat.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in to Seeing with Your Soul. If something you heard resonated with you, feel free to rate, review, and share with others. If you are looking to go deeper, you can connect with Tisha Michelle on Instagram at Mindset Slayer or visit www.healingalignedglow.com.